Xbox On. Welcome to Xbox On, a podcast with one host about one console, Xbox. I'm said host, Jesse DeRosa, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the latest Xbox news for the week of April 30th, 2026, including a new message from Asha Sharma outlines Xbox's future vision for the brand. All is not well in Halo Land. DRM makes a comeback, but not for Xbox this time. All that and more. On this week in Xbox history, in the year 2020, 6 years ago, Streets of Rage 4 was released for the Xbox One. I could have sworn this game was more recent than 6 years ago. That's wild. But Streets of Rage 4 is a game that I haven't played. It's in my backlog. Looks good. I heard it was good. I'm not a huge Streets of Rage guy, but, you know, Dotemu, side-scrolling, beat-em-up, brawler type game. These things tend to be good. The new Ninja Turtles game they did was good. The new Marvel game they did was really good. So I have no doubt that this was a good game. I believe it was in Game Pass for quite a while as well. Oh well. Streets of Rage 4 was released on this day in Xbox history. Guys, welcome to the Xbox On podcast, the only podcast that I happen to host. It's a show about all things Xbox, but sometimes Steam, because I'm a PC gamer now. I have betrayed my own kin. Hello. It's episode 361. Didn't think we'd make it this far, but here we are. I'm coming to you on the fresh off the news about Xbox and this new situation going on with PlayStation's DRM thing and Xbox kind of looking good for once. And so it's kind of weird. I'm like, how do we do an Xbox podcast where the news of the week is like Xbox is kind of doing some good things and PlayStation's kind of doing some bad things, and Xbox looks good for once. Not to make it like a dick measuring contest between brands, but like, I don't know, it's just kind of been a long time since people have thought Xbox is doing something right, while at the same time thinking that the competition, I don't know, could maybe learn a thing or two from Xbox. What's happening? Is it 2008 again? All right, guys, let's start off this week with our new game releases, and then I guess I'm going to just jump into one news story outside of the news, because we'll touch on it anyway. It'll make sense when we get there. Let's start out talking about these notable game releases, because we got a couple pretty good ones. April has been a hell of a month this year. I mean, it's just been so many notable games, whether it's like big AAA games or first-party games or third-party games or indies or whatever. I mean, every major platform has experienced some kind of notable release this month, and there's just been so much to pay attention to, and it doesn't stop here as we round out the month. So beginning as the day, well, actually, I guess it's as the day I'm recording the podcast, Aphelion, am I saying that right? Is now out for Xbox Series S and X as well as PC. I believe this game is a Day 1 Game Pass game as well. This is a new game from Don't Nod, the guys that made Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, and the Life is Strange series. This is, I really appreciate this developer because they're always just working on different things, and they manage to have like a different product out every couple of years. So they're always toying away at something new, something different. Apparently this game isn't reviewing super well. It's kind of got like mediocre kind of reviews. But it is a narrative-driven sci-fi third-person action game. I understand it's like stealth action. I don't really understand. I haven't really watched a lot of footage of it, I'll be completely honest. I don't know. I'm like, I don't care. It's too much going on right now for me to pay attention. But I want to care more because Don't Nod is a developer that I do appreciate and I like to support them. But I'm a little behind on them right now because I haven't played Banishers. I didn't play Jusant when that came out a few years ago. I'm pretty behind on their output, but you know, something space sci-fi, heavily narrative driven, like that's a Jesse recipe right there. So I don't know. Maybe I'll look more into this. I'm just so busy with so many other games, including well, I almost said a game that's on this list, but that's a maybe, actually. All right, the next game here worth noting, a big update, a big expansion for Diablo 4. For those of you who don't know, Diablo is Latin for Devil 4. This is Lord of Hatred. So a new expansion, which is out this week on Xbox platforms and PC. Now, conversely, from the game we were just talking about, Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred is getting really solid reviews. Is this their third? I think this is the third expansion this game's had at this point, I want to say. Seems to be one of the better ones, but again, I don't know. I fell off of Diablo 4 after like 2 hours, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I have anything to say about it other than technically Diablo is first-party content now, so this is like pretty notable, but whatever. Diablo, more of it for those of you who give a shit. The next game here is one that I was really, really excited to play. I've been looking for this game for about a year now. Unfortunately, it had a demo release on Steam a couple months back, and I tried it, and I didn't really like it all that much. I don't know. I might still give it a try. It's available on, of course, Xbox and PC. It's also available on Switch, which is where I was originally going to play because it seemed like a really cozy, fun Switch game. It's called Inkombini, which is, for those of you who are either not Japanese and or well-adjusted and don't know frivolous, nonsensical, weeby-ass factoids about Japanese language, culture, and society. Kombini is a Japanese name or term for like a convenience store. It's a katakana term, which is like the language that morphs a lot of Western words with Japanese characters. And it's like kombini. It's like convenience, conveni. So it's kind of a riff off that. But yeah, basically like a 7-Eleven or whatever in Japan would be like a kombini. So this game is called Inkombini, which I don't understand fully what that version of the word is to mean, but it is it's one of those like chill, like narrative sim lo-fi games where you play as this like teenager who works in this convenience store in the middle of like rural Japan. And I don't know. It has story to it. I don't know where it goes or what it's about. But it's a total like vibe type of game. You stock the shelves. You check out customers. You clean the back room and things like that. And there's just like I don't know how to sell it without it sounding incredibly boring and mundane. But there is something very alluring about the aesthetic and the feel of this game. And so I don't know. When I've seen the trailers for it, I'm like, damn, this game looks like a really cozy game. This is like the kind of game like maybe on a rainy Sunday you just curl up on the couch and play this for like 3 or 4 hours and just kind of like just pretend you're a Japanese teenager working in a rural convenience store in Japan for an afternoon. I don't know. It could be fun. I played the demo of this game and I wasn't super impressed with it. It seemed a little rough. Now, it was a pretty rough work in progress like Steam early access demo, and I didn't realize this game was developed by, I don't know if they're Russian or what, but something Eastern European, because the demo was all fucked up and all the menus were in like Russia speak and everything. And apparently there was a lot of controversy in Steam threads about like, oh, is the developer's not really Japanese? Oh, I think they might be Russian. And some people are like, I think they might be Chinese. It's like, I don't know that really matters all that much, but the game looks cool. Don't know if it is cool. I'm gonna do a little more research. It's just, there's so many really good games out right now. It's like, I don't know. Maybe I don't make it around to this game. Maybe I come back later. I don't know. But there it is. It's on Xbox. It's out on April 30th, so the day this podcast goes live. And then our last notable release comes out same day, Thursday, April 30th, and that is Invincible Versus. Now, this game was announced. When was this announced? Was this at the Game Awards? It was announced relatively recently. Maybe it was at the Xbox Summer Showcase or Summer Games Fest last summer. It's been less than a year since this game was announced. But anyway, this is a new fighting game, like a Tekken or Street Fighters type fighting game, arcade fighter, based on the comic series / Amazon Prime Video series Invincible. And I really don't know what else to say about that. It's Injustice, but for Invincible instead of DC characters. It's on Xbox. It's on PC. It's out now. Listen, I've never read the comic. I'm halfway. I'm in progress of watching season 2 after taking like years off of watching season 1. I like Invincible. I think it's really cool. I just don't give a shit about fighting games like this, so I'm not going to like act like there's really anything for me to say other than, hey, there's a fighting game based on the Invincible IP. It seems to me like if you're a fan of this IP, if you're a fan of fighting games, this game is for you. Otherwise, that's it for all the games coming out this week that I just wanted to shout out at the top of the show. Pretty good lineup in terms of variety, But, yeah, man, we'll talk about when we get to what I've been playing, but, like, there's a lot of games that are keeping me very distracted and occupying a lot of my brain gray matter right now. So the last thing I need are more great games to come out and pull me away from my limited free time. But guys, with that said, normally we just hop into the news, but what I want to do first is, well, it is news, but I want to talk about kind of what's going on with Halo. Let's just have a little state of Halo discussion for a minute. So there's been this guy, Rebs Gaming. He's this YouTuber / I guess Twitter guy, and he's been like a very reliable like Halo inside leaker type dude for a while now, just constantly hitting us with inside reports about Halo. The most notable thing as of late that we've probably mentioned on the show is the fact that, or is the rumor, the strong rumor that July 28th will be the release date of Halo Campaign Evolved. But yeah, this guy is constantly uploading new YouTube videos with little reports and inside details about what people are saying at Halo Studios and things going on behind the scenes and whatnot. And he's been talking about lately this Project Ecker that was apparently canceled but in development for a while. So do you guys remember the developer Certain Affinity back during the Halo Infinite years was working on this Halo Battle Royale, which was apparently a second attempt at a Halo Battle Royale, because apparently 343 was working on a Halo Battle Royale during Halo 5's life cycle. But Certain Affinity were apparently working on a Halo Battle Royale game. And then you remember Jez Corden had the reporting in like 2022 or something that it's like, oh, they are making it, but the Halo Battle Royale is set in the Halo Infinite universe, but it's being made in Unreal Engine or something. And that's kind of when the murmurings began about Halo switching from a proprietary engine to Unreal Engine. And that's kind of where that story began or became a talking point. But that Halo Battle Royale game really went quiet for a long time, and honestly I forgot all about it because Halo Infinite just became ultimately fizzled out into such an underwhelming like nothing sandwich. It's not even that Halo Infinite's a bad game. The thing that's most upsetting about Halo Infinite is it's like there's like a 10 out of 10 in that game if you look at the foundation, the bones of what that game is supposed to be. But between massive fuck-ups with the narrative and massive fuck-ups by structuring this product around a live service model for both narrative and multiplayer support, and then failing to do any of that immediately after the game came out, therefore leaving major plot points lingering and then only to be resolved in ancillary books that almost no one ever read. That was unforgivable for me. But anyway, Halo Infinite it's a great product. The thing is, what was I even saying? I don't know. I get myself so distracted on these non sequiturs. Anyway, the point is, apparently at some point in development, this Battle Royale that we kind of all stopped talking about turned into or morphed into a different concept, which was a Halo extraction shooter. So instead of jumping on the bandwagon to do the thing everyone's doing with Battle Royale games, because they're super popular, let's instead jump on the bandwagon to do the thing everyone else is doing and make a game that's incredibly niche, but still very mainstream, but still hyper-specific and still not as big of a wide net audience as Battle Royale, which is extraction shooter. So this is just a weird idea. Now, apparently the extraction shooter was being done internally at Halo Studios, but now the report is that that's kind of like on the shelf or not a thing that's actually happening. So that's something that we haven't really talked about on the show, because every time I see Halo in the news, unless it's something that we absolutely have to discuss, I'm not going to lie, I just kind of roll my eyes a little bit, because I'm like, listen, Halo, I need you to kind of just fuck off until there's something like really fun and exciting to play to make us fall back in love with Halo, because right now I'm very hurt by the way this franchise has been treated and by how the fans have just been mistreated, and it seems like a shitty scenario all the way around. Like, fans have gotten the short end of the stick on Halo. People who've worked on the Halo franchise have had the short end of the stick when you look at all the recent reports about just how horrible the culture is at this studio, and how like apparently a shit ton of people just wanted to leave 343 as soon as Halo Infinite was done. But yeah, it just seems like nobody's really won out with Halo. I can't imagine Xbox is all too happy with how Halo's playing out these days, although maybe it doesn't fucking matter now that they own Call of Duty. But anyway, so let's read a little bit. This is a Windows Central write-up based on reporting from Rebs Gaming, which says, In another report released this week, we got insight into 343 Industries, now called Halo Studios, and what they had planned for Halo Infinite. As with any report like this, it's worth mentioning that the information is based on sources and not officially confirmed. But after the Project ECAR, which is the extraction shooter Halo project, a potential Mr. Rebs said he could confirm. He could not confirm full details at this time. However, he has said that since former senior animator who described work on Unreal Engine-based multiplayer projects that was already playable as early as last year, the extraction shooter itself, though, has seemingly been canceled, according to a former developer. So they are working on some multiplayer content, but this extraction shooter idea has been abandoned, so presumably that's a Halo 7 type project. Now, moving on to what Mr. Rebs reports regarding the original plans for Halo Infinite, he states that in 2022, creative head Joseph Staten, who's now no longer with Halo Studios, held a company-wide Microsoft Teams meeting, which during the meeting he outlined what the next Halo campaign would look like, showing concept art that included a forerunner structure in a snowy environment, a lava biome similar to Mustafar from Star Wars, and a brute skiff among large trees. Mr. Rebs also claimed that Halo Infinite's sequel was in development in 2022. Alongside this, he states that plans included a banished scarab and characters from the Halo books, which is a horrible, horrible idea. Why would you do that? Stop doing that. Don't do this. People don't read the Halo books. Pretend it's not lore. Pretend it's not canon because no one fucking... He also claims that Halo Infinite was intended to act as a central hub for Halo games. Windows Central says... let's see here. Following the launch of the game, though, 343 Industries reportedly faced mass attrition, with a wave of developers leaving the studio in a relatively short period of time. At the same time, Microsoft reportedly implemented a hiring freeze ahead of the January 2023 layoffs. According to Mr. Rebs, this left the team significantly understaffed during a critical post-launch window, and as a result, support for Halo Infinite slowed, with the flow of new content dropping off. It also helps explain and understand why updates during this period were so limited, despite expectations for ongoing live service support. This likely wasn't helped by the reliance on contract work, which Bloomberg has reported for a while. Interestingly, Rebs also claims that internal discussions had already begun to bring Halo to PlayStation during that time frame. So we're talking 2022 and 3. This report does explain a lot, and I'd urge people to watch the full video. Blah blah blah. That's what Windows Central says. So anyway. Here's the first thing I want to get to on this. First of all, well, actually, let me say this. Did we know that there was a mass exodus of people leaving 343? I guess we kind of knew anecdotally, because it seemed like a lot of people who were kind of loud on LinkedIn and Twitter and stuff who were working on Halo Infinite did seem to kind of fucking peace out either at the tail end of development or right after the game came out. So that actually maybe does kind of track, although I don't know if we've ever really heard it put like that so bluntly, that there was a mass exodus of people leaving. That was after the game, but before the layoffs. So 343, before they turned into Halo Studios, really got like absolutely obliterated with the staffing when you think about it. And then on top of that, here's the other thing we got to talk about. They talk about this idea of like Halo Infinite was supposed to be this live service Halo game with like new campaigns and more multiplayer ideas being added into it over time. But it's like, I very distinctly remember that being the expectation in the whole point of Halo Infinite back when the game first came out. I don't remember who reported it or who at 343 said it or if it was Phil Spencer or who, but I remember the idea of Halo Infinite, and we talked about it on the show at the time. The idea was that Halo Infinite is like this Halo platform. It's like the 10 years, like we talked about it, like Destiny. It's like Halo Infinite will be for Halo what Destiny, kind of what Destiny did, where it's like, here's a game that will go on for 10 years. Every year or two, you'll get a big campaign expansion that will build upon the story, and then they'll add more multiplayer modes and maps and ideas over time, probably additional things like Firefight or whatever. But instead, we just got this like really, really wimpy, sad, kind of bare bones post-launch support with like a map here, a map there, some haphazard mode ideas. Dude, Halo Infinite is such a sad product when you think about what it could have been, what it should have been, what it turned out to be. It's a really disappointing thing, but this is being like kind of passed off as like new reporting, but I feel like this is something we used to talk about. Like this is something that was widely known and understood, but in any case, Other rumors and reports right now going around surrounding Halo is that Halo Studios isn't really making games, is that they're kind of just shepherding this franchise, this IP, for in all media facets. So that would be the idea or the reporting is that apparently we know Halo Campaign Evolved is mostly being done by this other studio, and then apparently additional Halo games are in development by other studios, and then 343 is kind of acting as the overseer of these projects, which is weird. Because it's you're a fucking game developer. What are you talking about? You're not Lucasfilm. You're Halo Studios. You guys make video games. Although maybe that's part of what the name change is about, is that this is more of a lean team that oversees a brand as opposed to a video game developer that makes video games. So I don't know if there's much truth to that report or rumor either. But all in all, again, it's just this is why we don't talk about Halo too much on the show, if we don't have to, and it's because it's just kind of always disappointing. I don't want it to be this way. I love Halo just as much as I love Xbox. It's Xbox and Halo to me are two of the video game related things that make me the most happy, that put me here in the first place, to where I wanted to dedicate my adult life fucking talking to 113 30 plus year old men about my infatuation with video games. This is important stuff to me, and it's not fun to watch both Halo and Xbox constantly beat to a fucking pulp due to mismanagement and just absolute I guess seeming ineptitude. I don't know, but anyway, there's the addressing of the Halo situation. There's the state of Halo. Let me know what you guys think. If you have anything else where you're well, Jesse, I follow Halo pretty closely, and I think you forgot to mention this and this. I don't know. I'm expecting to see Halo at the Summer Showcase, and then probably the game releases in July, this Campaign Evolved. And I'm hoping against all odds that once that game comes out, and I load it on my Xbox, and I play a little Halo Campaign Evolved, that it kind of cools my jets and makes me just remember, hey, forget the noise, fuck all the rest. This is about Halo. Just enjoy Halo. I'm hoping I have a moment like that when that game comes out in a few months, but I don't know, man. Halo needs a fucking vacation. This franchise has been through the ringer, and for no reason other than greed and mismanagement, I suppose. But anyway, all right, guys. Now we can get into the proper news of the week. Whew, I just pet my kitties before, a lot. I pet my kitties a lot before I started recording, and now my allergies are kind of acting up. But it's okay. It was worth it because, god damn, I love my cats. All right. Let's start this week off with some really positive news. All right, some very I wouldn't even say positive. Let's choose a less, I don't know, a less definitive term, a term that suggests more of a feeling and less of what am I saying? Less of an affirmation. Let's talk about a very important story that brings a big air of optimism to the table, something desperately, sorely needed. So, Asha Sharma, she's here. She's making waves. She's saying all the right things. She's even done a thing or two that we really like so far, right? This is an Xbox dead. Game Pass price decreased. Okay. All right. And we got some of you fucking gamer boys. I see you guys. I see you're gooning at her. Listen, Phil Spencer, he's a nice guy, but at the end of the day, he's a daddy. Asha Sharma, I get it. She's a pretty lady. Some of you guys got to stop fucking gooning over the CEO, okay? Calm down. All right. Let's read from VGC. Microsoft's new gaming CEO, Asha Sharma, has shared a mission statement for the future of Xbox and confirmed that the platform holder is reevaluating game exclusivity and AI. In a message sent to Xbox employees worldwide and published on the company's website, Sharma and Chief Content Officer Matt Booty outlined the future objectives for the Xbox brand and confirmed that as part of its changes, the Microsoft gaming division will be rebranded back to just Xbox. Yes, because if at first you don't succeed, try again. And then if you don't succeed, try again. And if you keep mangling things in the process of trying again, fuck it, you're Xbox, you're Microsoft, you have all the money in the world, just keep trying because you can buy your way to the place you want to be. The pair said that the new North Star for the Xbox brand will be daily active players and indicated that it will execute its new plan through 4 priorities: hardware, content, experiences, and services. Let me stop right there. This is the most negative thing I'm going to say before we're done reading here. I just want to say this one thing. Having daily active players be your North Star is a fucking omen. Listen, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos. I've seen a lot of takes on the internet. People seem very optimistic about this memo that this note we're about to read, and this news we're about to get into. But I gotta be honest with you guys right here. I'm highlighting it as I'm reading and speaking with you guys. The pair said the new North Star for Xbox will be daily active players, and I'm just gonna bold and highlight that information, okay? We will come back to that. Let's continue reading, and we will come back to that, because that right there, I think, is at the crux of all this. All right. So the 4 priorities: hardware, content, experiences, and services. Notably, the leadership team claimed that along the way, we will reevaluate our approach to exclusivity, windowing, and AI, and share more as we learn and decide. All right. So along the way, we will share our reevaluation. Let me actually just... let me also just actually bold and highlight that. Okay, here we go. The letter to staff goes on to lay out Xbox's priorities going forward. In hardware, it says it wants to stabilize Xbox Series consoles as a healthy and high-quality base, then deliver Project Helix to lead in performance and play your console and PC games, and build a strong ecosystem that expands choice and reach. In content, Sharma and Booty state their intention to grow and extend an enduring portfolio of franchises players love, evolve third-party partnerships, maintain and grow in live games, and expand in China and other emerging markets. Okay, so kind of do, honestly, what PlayStation's trying to do, because PlayStation's got a foothold in China and India and other places right now, and it is trying and failing desperately at trying to get a live service thing off the ground. So I mean, it seems like Xbox is basically saying, hey, we're going to try to do what PlayStation's doing, because that's probably the better way to grow. All right, so that's content. We talked about hardware. They basically say, hey, we want to fix this failing Xbox Series console generation and then transition successfully to Project Helix. It's like, okay, only one way to do that is to stop putting your fucking games on PlayStation. But okay, let's go on. In services, the pair say that they intend to fortify Game Pass with clear differentiation and sustainable economics. Ooh, sustainable economics? Oh, it's almost as if Game Pass wasn't sustainable, like we said, for all these fucking years. And Asha Sharma's like, yo, I'm going to make it sustainable. Wow. Anyway, return the business to durable growth and strong cost discipline. Oh, interesting. Improve the cloud experience and acquire companies to accelerate growth where organic paths are too slow. Boo, that's the Microsoft part talking. Yeah, we want to exercise a strong cost discipline. Oh, and we want to buy other companies if it gets us to where we want to go faster. Inorganic growth always fucking fails, but okay, Microsoft, you go and buy Nokia again. See how that goes for you. Buy Activision Blizzard, buy Nokia. It always works out. Just keep doing it. All right, finally, Xbox leaders say that they want to improve the experience for players, overhauling discovery, customization, social, and personalization to connect the community. This is actually great, because you guys have basically abandoned social features and things like that on Xbox. Bring it back, expand it, connect it seamlessly between PC and Xbox. This is a great idea. Please, for the love of Christ, do this. All right, the letter opens with an admission that Xbox has work to do. Players are frustrated, it says, noting criticism of less frequent feature drops. Very true. I like this opening. I appreciate that they take ownership and admit, hey, we've been fucking up and we have stuff to fix. Cool. Thank you. We can't fix the problem until you address the problem. That's great. Now they say, our presence on PC is not strong enough. Pricing is getting harder for people to keep up with, and core experiences like search, discovery, social, and personalization still feel too fragmented. Developers and publishers are asking for more tools, better insight, in a platform that helps them grow faster. Well, if you want a platform that helps you grow faster, might I recommend the PlayStation 5? Anyway, at the same time, a new generation of players is coming online with different expectations. Their time is split across games, media, and everything else competing for attention. They expect more content in familiar places, want to shape the worlds they play in, and want to create and socialize together, not just play together. Okay, let me just stop right here. I can't read it all and then talk. I had to stop right here because, yeah, there is a new generation of kids who don't give a shit about Xbox versus PlayStation. They just care about Fortnite, and their friends play on Fortnite. Doesn't matter if they're playing on a PS4, an Xbox Series X, a fucking Android tablet, an actual fucking potato, their mom's iPad. They don't give a shit. They just want a fucking laptop that's meant for school. It doesn't matter if you can play Fortnite with your friends. Then that's the gaming thing. It's not about Xbox or PlayStation. It's about Fortnite, the platform. And they're aware of that, and they're saying, well, how do we capture that generation? I'm telling you right now, Xbox, the more you keep trying to make Xbox about people in India with shitty internet and no access to hardware, people fucking who are Gen Z and have flippy broccoli hair and want to play Fortnite and don't give a shit about a console brand, the more and more you chase these segments at the cost of your hardcore base audience, the more and more you're going to fuck Xbox up. I'm just saying that right now. But they do say that they want to double down on their core base first and build out from there, which is cool because that is how you got to do it. But like, just keep in mind, like, you can't sacrifice what makes Xbox in an attempt to grow Xbox to new people, because all you're going to do then is alienate both your existing user base and any attempt to garner a new one. Anyway, these changes are happening. They say these changes are happening as the industry reshapes around us. It concludes, adding that the model that got us here won't be the one that takes us forward. That's very interesting because they talk. So this is man, this is what I'm talking about. They say that they want to like double down on the core user base, but then they say that the model that got us here won't be the one that takes us forward. I hope that is a way of specifically saying what Xbox has become the past 5 years or so is not the path forward. We got to figure something else out. I hope they're not saying, the Xbox we were 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago won't take us forward, because it's like, whoa, that Xbox might take you forward. Don't abandon that Xbox. Abandon this new fucking, this is an Xbox. That's the one we got to get rid of. Anyway, Sharma and Booty state that the next gen Xbox console will be where the world plays and creates. Console is at our foundation, delivering a premium experience, and cloud brings the experience to any device. You can play where you want to play, and your games, progress, friends, and identity stay with you across console, PC, mobile, and cloud. So, okay. So not giving up on those things, but making the console the foundation. Okay, continue. Xbox will be built to be affordable, personal, and open. We will offer flexible pricing so it's easy to get started and keep playing. The experience will adapt to you, letting you customize how you play, helping you find what you'll love, and connecting with the right people. So what does that mean? Does that mean for affordability we have customizable Game Pass subscriptions that you can use on your phone? Or does that mean we're going to continue to offer an affordable entry-level console like an Xbox Series X into the next generation? Does it mean we're going to get into handhelds? Does it mean the Xbox Project Helix is going to be way more affordable than people are speculating, which I fucking doubt? I don't know, man. What does that mean? Okay. If you want to grow into China and other markets, I guess you gotta be a little more flexible and cost effective or affordable to penetrate these markets that are more. I don't know how to say this. It's just like more cost conscious. Americans are used to paying whatever the fuck they got to pay to play the game, But there are other markets that they won't put up with it. They're not going to look at a $500 console and say, "Yeah, I'm going to go buy that." All right. So before we start talking about this, because man, there's so many things we could say here. I'm just going to tack on this other story real quick that, after this memo went out, Asha Sharma and Matt Booty were asked in an interview with GameFile to kind of expand on some of this stuff some more, especially, particularly they're talking about this idea of reevaluating exclusive games. So the pair indicated that they will take their time to consider the future strategy of Xbox game releases and that no announcements were imminent. So just keep in mind, they're not really saying what the plan is because clearly they're still working on the plan, but they say these are long-term decisions, like long-swinging decisions that have decades-long impact. This is what Asha says. It takes a while to create great games, and the team's been through a lot of cycles. I don't think it's helpful to unpack those. I wasn't there. Well, we'll take a look at data-driven approach and strategic-driven approach, and then we'll look at our principles and we'll make some calls. So we'll share that more on that when we're ready. We know it's an important discussion to have. So interesting here. Let me actually highlight again. So they're saying we'll take a look at data-driven approach. Okay, the data is going to say putting your games on Xbox sells more copies, or on PlayStation, and we'll look at our principles. Okay. What principles? And then we'll make some calls. Okay. Push for a time frame on how long it could take for a new leadership to establish a firm multi-platform strategy. The CEO says nothing we're ready to commit to. It's been 60 days. These are decade-long decisions from before. These are very consequential decisions, and I want to make sure that we're making the right decisions, not the fastest decision. The gaming boss then added that she's heard all the feedback from core fans disappointed by the removal of exclusive games. Quote, we're listening to all the feedback and we're looking at a lot of things on that. Booty was then asked to reflect on Xbox's multi-platform journey so far and whether it had been a success. The exec then suggested that Xbox could continue to take a title-by-title approach, similar to what's already been done on PS5 with games like Fable and Forza Horizon 6, which will come to Xbox and PC first, and then PlayStation later. A great approach to this, he says, is that it has been a great way to dock. What is this? That has been great to dock to the way Asha thinks on this. It's just around intentionality, and you've heard about things that we're learning, evaluate, and how we go forward, right? Each title has got its own audience. It's got its own approach and its own business model. There really isn't a single through line, or I'll even use a frame Asha used. Like, there's no silver bullet in terms of how we solve which games go where, right? Okay. So it sounds like Matt Booty is basically saying, don't expect things to change. The money's too good. All right? All right. So sorry, man. I don't know what the hell is happening. I need to go, wash my face or something. This is all I'm going to say. Look at these highlights I made. The pair stated that the new North Star for Xbox will be daily active players. Okay. So you're chasing a large number of players. You're not chasing console sales. That's not your new North Star. It's not console sales. It's not game sales, games sold. It's daily active players. Okay? Okay. The leadership team claimed that along the way, we will reevaluate our approach to exclusivity, windowing, and AI, and share more as we learn and decide. Along the way, they will reevaluate. Okay. So basically saying, as we learn more about where the money comes from, we will look into this. And then the last one here, we'll take a data-driven approach and strategic-driven approach, and then we'll look at our principles and make some calls. The data is going to show that the more platforms you put the games on, the better the games sell. The data is going to show that if PlayStation players have access to your games, you will have higher user engagement. You will have higher daily active players. The data is going to show that you'll sell more battle passes and season passes and skins and other in-store items. You'll have more people talking about your game. You'll have more people playing your game. You'll have more people thinking about your game and looking forward to sequels for your game and coming to check out seasonal content for your game. You will have your new North Star most fulfilled by putting your games on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and Switch if you can get them to run there too. That is how you achieve what they're saying their new North Star is. I'm not saying that Asha Sharma and Matt Booty are lying to our faces right now. I think they are looking at things. I think they realize, and that Xbox realizes, that Microsoft realizes that they have shot Xbox so severely in the foot by putting games on other platforms, and that there's no reason for anyone to buy an Xbox. Listen, as an Xbox fan, as someone who prefers Xbox and is saddened by what's going on in the world of Xbox, if anyone, under any circumstance, asks me, Jesse, I want to play video games now, what video game time do I play? I would never recommend an Xbox over Switch 2. I would never recommend an Xbox over PlayStation 5. I would never recommend an Xbox over a PC or a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally or fucking whatever the other PC handheld tablet thingies are. I don't think that Xbox is even remotely a thing worth investing in, because I don't think $23 a month Game Pass really justifies a platform that has no exclusive content, that favors PlayStation 5 Pro over the Xbox Series X, that's taking away social features and abandoning its player base, that talks outside of both sides of its mouth, that tries to fucking rake you over the coals, charging you $80 for games that are clearly not worth $80, like The Outer Worlds 2, even though the game's awesome. Xbox has been such a horribly run division for so long now that I couldn't in good conscience tell anyone to buy an Xbox. It makes absolutely zero sense. And I will say, the past couple months, the more I fuck around on Switch 2, the more I fuck around on PC, the more I play around with this PlayStation Portal that I got so I can play Wolverine in a few months, the more I realize, you know what? The value of Game Pass is actually such fucking bullshit. Here's the thing. Here's like the thing about Game Pass I never hear anyone say, but it's like, I don't think Game Pass benefits anyone at this point. Now that I've been like, sober from Game Pass for like half a year, and that I see what's going on PlayStation, I see what's going on Steam, it's like, Game Pass is a fucking scam that not only it sucks for the customer, but it sucks for Xbox. It makes their whole life miserable, because on PC, it's like, oh yeah, maybe on PC you don't have Game Pass, but on PC you got to pay fucking $0.00 a month to access games online. So there's no need for any subscription on Steam. So right off the bat, you're saving yourself like $10 a month by not having to have like an Xbox Live or a Game Pass or PlayStation Network or whatever the fuck it is, right? You don't have to have any of those things. So immediately you're saving money. That's more money that can go to games. And then on top of that, on PC, there are so many fucking games at a dirt cheap price. And every fucking game is always on fire sale. Like, why would you spend $25 a month on Game Pass when you could just buy 2 games that are in Game Pass for like $10 to $13 on Steam? It's like, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? These games, it's like this new Vampire Crawlers just came out. They're like, oh, day one Game Pass. It's like, great. I bought it for $9 on Steam. I don't give a shit that it's day one on Game Pass. I'll gladly just pay a third of the monthly price of Game Pass and own the game on PC and Steam Deck. Like, what are you talking about? Why would I buy fucking Game Pass for this shit? It's like, it's an absolute nonsensical ripoff. And then this is the thing that really got me, is playing around on the PlayStation Portal, because so Sony kind of operates like their PlayStation Network or whatever subscription tiers. They have like premium, ultra, like whatever. They have like the 3 tiers. It's like easy, medium, and hard, whatever the fuck it's called. Their tiers are kind of somewhere in between what PSN has always been / what Xbox Live was and what Game Pass is. Because if you subscribe to the most expensive tier of PlayStation Plus, it's like $17 or $18 a month US, and you get access to this absurdly large catalog of games that I'm going to be honest with you, aside from the fact that yes, you don't get day one PlayStation games, this catalog has a better variety than what's on Game Pass. Like, I was looking through this a couple of nights ago. I was on the PlayStation Portal just scrolling around. I'm like, I feel like PlayStation Network, if you are a premium subscriber to PlayStation Network, you pay the $17 or $18 a month for the subscription. You get every game of consequence that's in Game Pass other than Xbox first-party games. Plus, you get some Xbox games in there. There are some Xbox games in there. And then you get a lot of PlayStation games that are like only a year or 2 old. It's like, dude, like, what the fuck is the point of Game Pass when you could just have this? And then you could just buy your Xbox games on your PlayStation while also getting your PlayStation games on your PlayStation. Like, there's no reason not to just buy like a PlayStation 5 over an Xbox and then subscribe to PlayStation Network for less money than Game Pass and get pretty much the same fucking value, but with a bigger library. It just, it's mind-boggling. And then, of course, Nintendo's always Nintendo, but like, I'll be honest, man, Nintendo these days is not the same Nintendo we used to have. I mean, there are sales on the Nintendo Switch eShop pretty fucking regularly, and you can get good deals all the time. You can get good deals all the time. Not really going to put up too much of a fight there. Obviously, Game Pass is probably better value than buying everything a la carte on Nintendo's platform, but Nintendo's kind of the odd man out. But even then, I still feel like Nintendo has become so much of a value-driven gaming landscape compared to what it once was for like the longest time. I mean, I even see Nintendo first-party games go on sale from time to time on the Nintendo eShop, and that used to be like an unheard of thing to say. So I don't know, man. I feel like as someone who used to be almost exclusively sucked into the Xbox ecosystem, Game Pass seemed like such a good deal, and like it technically is like a value rich deal. But then like when I compare it to like what other platforms have and like what you could pay and get on other platforms, it's like, I don't know, man. Like I could pay around the same amount of money and just own everything on PC, or I could pay slightly less on PlayStation and get pretty much the same catalog of games, plus Xbox will put their games on PlayStation, so you can just get the best of both worlds. It's like, what is the point of Game Pass? Anyway, man, where were we? So daily active players is the North Star, right? You can't grow Game Pass. They're going to try. They're going to come up with new ways to do it. There might be a customization thing where it's like, you pick, what do you want? Xbox first party games, and but you don't want indies, or you do want Ubisoft, or you don't want Fortnite bucks or whatever, and you're going to be able to make your custom version of Game Pass, and it's going to save you a little bit of money here and there, and it's still not going to work. And then they're going to come out with a tier that doesn't include Xbox first-party day one games. It only includes... Sorry, that already exists. They're going to come out with a tier that only includes day one first-party games and nothing else. And that will be a little cheaper as well. And they're going to keep fucking around. They're going to keep pushing out new ideas. And they're going to try to bundle with Netflix. But nothing is going to work. They might have little pops here and there. When Forza comes out, they'll probably get a little pop for Game Pass. But at the end of the day, Game Pass is a failed experiment. We've already done it. It's been too long. You've tried it so many ways. It's not going to change. You got to give up on Game Pass, but they're not going to. Not yet, at least. Instead, they're chasing daily active players, and the way they're going to do that is by trying to get people on Game Pass, selling their games on PlayStation because that's the only place people buy them, trying to get more games on Switch and PC, and then trying to make games that make people want to continue to engage, trying to make their kind of Fortnite, continuing to invest in Minecraft and Sea of Thieves and Call of Duty, because these games retain players for long periods of time. So I just want to be clear. It's like, even though it sounds like they're seriously talking about potentially going back to exclusive games, I know a lot of Xbox fans out there are saying, oh man, they're going to go back to exclusive games. It really sounds like they're heavily considering it. It's like, listen, man, I'm not trying to rain on your parade. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but you cannot have a North Star that is about driving daily active users and then cut your games off from the platform where they are selling the best. It makes no goddamn sense at all. So Xbox is not about to abandon PlayStation. Do not fool yourself. Do not listen to all your favorite Xbox influencers on Twitter and YouTube. I know it's what we want. Trust me, I want it too. I will be so proud. I will be so happy to be wrong on this very podcast if they actually take exclusives away from PlayStation and go back to Xbox having console exclusives. I would love that. But I am so confident that that's never going to happen that I'm telling you right now, you got to pull yourself back into reality. What's done has been done. And Bat Booty's comments say it all, because he can't say shit. Like, as the one who was actually there during all these decisions, unlike Asha Sharma, you could tell when he's being pressed by GameFile, he's just like, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, we're gonna look at data and make decisions, and like, there's no silver bullet. Maybe we just gotta keep putting all of our games on every other platform. But hey, maybe we can do like 6-month delays between when Xbox gets them and when PlayStation gets them. It's like, great, then we'll do what I fucking did as someone who wanted to play PlayStation games this generation on PC. They'll just fucking wait for the games to come where they already are. It doesn't work like that anymore. Listen, like, the world's not going to go buy a $1,200 Xbox Helix to play Halo 9, right? Which is going to be a fucking fucked up game because Halo Studios still won't get the cord pulled on them as they're fucking up Halo for the 7th time. And I will not buy that platform to go fucking, not me, but like, people will not go run out and buy this $1,200 box to go play Halo 9 when they can just wait 6 to 12 months and play it on the PlayStation 6 or whatever, like, it just doesn't make sense. So, I mean, again, I'm not saying Asha Sharma is lying to you. I think Asha Sharma is genuinely, like, she was put in place here to fix the mess that has been made. And I think her actual attempt right now is like, how can I please the fans? Because I know without this core fan base, we have nothing. And I think she's smart enough to get that. But I think also it's like, the genie has been let out of the bottle and you simply can't put it back in. It doesn't matter how much the fans hate that, you can't do it. We cannot go to shareholders with a straight face and say, yes, we took all of our games away from PlayStation and now we're only going to sell them on this platform that nobody wants to buy, where everyone who does have it doesn't buy the games because they get them for free in a $23 a month subscription service that's not that great. Like, okay. Okay, good luck with that. We fucking turn things around for Xbox with that plan. See how that goes. All right. Now let's flip the script, guys. Let's talk about Xbox in a positive light and talk about PlayStation in a way that sucks, because PlayStation made a big fucking mistake recently. And, well, they didn't make a mistake. They knew what they were doing. They made an absolute fuck you move to their player base. And for the first time in a while, we have a scenario where Xbox looks good and PlayStation looks bad, because people, say regardless of what I just said, people feel hot about what Xbox is saying right now, what Xbox is doing right now. They like the price drop on Game Pass. They like the killing off the This Is an Xbox campaign. They like going from Microsoft Gaming back to Xbox. They like these things. So PlayStation comes out and it's bad news. And here's the thing, is it's such bad news that PlayStation did this without ever even announcing it. They still haven't even acknowledged it. But basically, as of March, PlayStation just quietly said, fuck you, beginning with all games released this March and onward. These games are protected by digital rights management system, which requires you to log into the internet every 30 days in order to verify that you own this game. And if you don't, then they will have to, that they won't let you play the games you purchase. So, for example, new game comes out like Forza Horizon 6. You buy it on your PlayStation because Xbox hates you and wants you to buy all your games on PlayStation. And then you go offline for 30 days. And then on day 31, you try to play your game. And it says, fuck you, you have to connect to the internet in order to play this game. Because that's to verify that you still have the license for it. This is exactly the move that Xbox One pulled off in 2013 that set everyone fucking reeling. It was this and the combination of sports, Halo, Dog, Call of Duty that made everyone run into the arms of PlayStation 4. So it's so funny how the tables have turned, because PlayStation literally had a generation captive when they released that video to flame Xbox, where it was like, this is how you share games on PlayStation 4, and it was Adam Boy and Shuei Yoshida, and he just like hands him the game, the physical game disc, and he's just like, oh, thank you. And it was like an absolute fuck you moment for Xbox. Xbox has been suffering ever since that day. It's like, I mean, this is literally PlayStation just stooping to their low. This would be like if PlayStation came out right now and was just like, fuck it, we're buying EA games to match Xbox buying Activision, and we're doing Game Pass 2, and we're going to put fucking Last of Us Part 3 in there day one. Fuck you. Like, this is them doing all the things that didn't work for Xbox for themselves. And the reason why PlayStation can do this, because remember, Xbox walked it back. Xbox One ended up not having that DRM system in place. Xbox has DRM, just like every console has to some extent, but Xbox's current method of DRM is very friendly. It's very much, you set your Xbox as your home console, and whether you're online or offline, you can play your digital downloaded games on your console, because you have a license in perpetuity for those games so long as they're installed on your home console. So I can take my Xbox Series X, which is my home console, and I can play Halo 5 on it till the fucking cows come home, in like Indonesia with no internet. Not to say they don't have internet in Indonesia, but to say I wouldn't have internet in Indonesia because I don't live there and I'm not set up to it. So if I was fucking over there for a while, living in a fucking Airbnb with no internet for 2 months, I could still play my games over there because that Xbox is my home console. On PlayStation, you can't do that. You have to reconnect. Now, it's hard for me to talk about this subject matter in good faith, because personally, I didn't have a huge issue with DRM back in the Xbox One reveal in 2013 when everyone was losing their shit over it, and I don't have a huge issue with it now. I will say I very much kind of don't give a shit, because as someone who lives in the modern era in the United States and is always connected to the internet, I cannot imagine a scenario where I would need to go 30 days without internet and play my video games. Like, I just don't think this is a thing that will ever affect me. But I understand on a principle matter why people care about this and why people fight it. But the reality of it is, and the whole point of a DRM process is to limit and reduce piracy. But this was such a massive backlash for Xbox when they tried to do this that that they ended up walking it back and going, all right, we're never going to do that shit. Fuck us, I guess. And the fact that PlayStation is so far ahead and they're so ubiquitous and they're so ever present and in control of the gaming industry that they can just be like, well, fuck you. We're going to do it. And we're going to do it in the middle of a console generation. And we're not going to tell you about it. And we're just kind of going to let people figure it out. Is so telling of the absolute fuck you big ball energy that PlayStation has right now. Because what are they afraid of? Xbox isn't making a comeback. Fuck that. You know, they screwed themselves up. They're done for. PlayStation and Nintendo, they're two different things. They just, you know, people buy both or they play one or the other, but they're really not direct competitors. And so it's like PlayStation's like, what are you gonna do? You have no choice. If you want to play video games, you're gonna come to us. Fuck you. You guys are bitching and moaning about DRM today on PlayStation, but in a couple of months, you motherfuckers are all going to be hopping on our console like crazy to play Grand Theft Auto 6. You know it. So this is what happens when you don't have a strong Xbox. This is what happens when there's no competition and when you have an egotistic, overly prominent, overrepresentative, over-defended, and over-supported PlayStation is you get anti-consumer practices, you get a worse product, and everyone suffers for it. And that's exactly what we find ourselves in with PlayStation. And I think this is such a great opportunity for Xbox to really drive home. Like, I mean, dude, if I were Xbox, I'm not even fucking kidding you. Asha Sharma needs to make a video with someone at Xbox and be like, this is how you share games on Xbox. And then, like, literally just throw the same fucking video that Xbox or that PlayStation did for Xbox in 2013, do the same fucking thing the other way around now. I think they really ought to do that because the unfortunately these days it's all about style points and like the optics and the discussion. And if PlayStation really is garnering as much hatred and backlash as they're garnering right now, this is a huge opportunity for Xbox to swoop in and say something good or do something cool to help be like, yeah, PlayStation does suck even though we put all of our games over there. You guys should play Xbox and here's why. You know, like, do something, say something. This is your moment. People are happy with you right now. You dropped Game Pass's price while at the same time PlayStation was like, fuck you, go fucking connect to the internet all the time to play the games you bought. So anyway, I just think it's crazy because Sony hasn't even responded to the public outcry about the situation. The only reason people know about it is because it's in like update notes from March. So that's it. Cronky writes in and says, I'm thinking a vibe shift is happening. Will it matter? Probably not, but still, the internet is really angry about this PSN DRM issue at the moment, and people seem to be feeling positively about the direction of Xbox at the moment. So let's all enjoy a week or two of positivity again before it all crashes down once Xbox cancels Fable or shuts down Obsidian or some brilliant move like that. You're absolutely right, Cronky, because, dude, I love you, Phil Spencer, but in the Phil Spencer era, the perfect timing right now, the thing that Xbox would be most likely to do right now, with Xbox being kind of praised and PlayStation being in the hot seat, the most common thing for them to do would be to announce something bad right now. Oh my god, you can just see it. They're just like, fucking Shinji Mikami left Tango Gameworks, so now we're gonna kill him because he's not part of Xbox. I don't know. Just joking. But like, yeah, they'll be like, I don't know, they'll be like fucking Halo 7 canceled and Gears E-Day is actually a fucking free-to-play PlayStation exclusive or something. Like, they can find some way to fuck it all up, you know? Like, did we say Game Pass is now $23 a month? We meant $230. Fuck you. Don't worry, PlayStation. We'll take the fall for you. Anyway, yeah, this is heartening in a way that there's just an opportunity for Xbox to look good and do a thing. I bet, though, knowing what like good sports Xbox always tries to be, they're going to try to take the moral high road, and it's going to be so fucking annoying because they're going to let this moment pass and not do anything about it, and that drives me nuts. But anyway, let's move on because we still have a lot of news to get to, you guys. So, all right, let's talk about... So, a report, as reported by Tom's Hardware, the website, Intel has explained during its latest earnings call, this is scary stuff, that the AI data centers shift to focus their attention on RAM supply will eventually shift to a need for CPUs. Alrighty. Because the training phase is where machine learning models are shown a vast amount of data, building up a knowledge base. This phase requires a significant amount of GPU power because of the parallel processing. However, The inference phase, where the AI then takes what is learned and uses it to provide new technology based upon prompts, relies more on CPU technology, especially during agentic AI, where human interactions are minimal and AI acts independently to perform multiple steps to reach a solution. So this is a report. Tom's Hardware reports that this analysts and tech companies are starting to predict that the need for increased RAM is going to lead to an increased need for CPU. So even if the RAM shortage and price gouging starts to fall back down and normalize to some extent, there will probably then be another issue pertaining to CPUs, which will continue to affect the production of Xbox consoles and all the rest as the entire industry faces supply shortages and price hikes on components used to make video game hardware. So this is a very promising situation. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but I've already seen a lot of people lately in the past few weeks being like, hey, the RAM shortage thing should actually be kind of sorting itself out. Apparently, Sam Altman, OpenAI, the fuckboys over there, were wrong about how much RAM they could commit to purchasing, and they're going to their letter of intent apparently to purchase 2/3 of the world's RAM supply. Apparently, they're just gonna default on that and not actually follow through on it. And so apparently, RAM is about to become somewhat easier to get your hands on and more affordable all of a sudden. And that's the word, that's the rumor, is that in the coming weeks we'll start to see that more and more. So let's see how that plays out. But oh my god, if this then trickles from RAM to CPU and so on and so forth, I'm gonna just fucking lose my shit, man. I'm gonna go pick up knitting. I'm not even joking. I'm gonna give up video games. I'm gonna pick up knitting. I'm gonna cry. All right, let's talk about Tim Kaine. Fallout co-creator Tim Kaine revealed that his career is winding down. This is from Windows Central. And that it may be ending in the near future. While doing so, however, he also knows that he expects he'll make one last video game before he goes into retirement. He says, I think I'm going to make one more game before I retire, again for the second time, but who knows, he mused. Notably, Kaine actually left retirement to rejoin Xbox Obsidian Entertainment last year, and is apparently working on an unannounced project. Previously, he was a programmer for the studio's South Park, Stick of Truth, WildStar, Pillars of Eternity, and Tyranny titles, a director for Outer Worlds, and a creative consultant on Outer Worlds too. At the time, he commented, "Don't bother guessing, you're not going to guess right," which strongly suggests his final game won't be a Fallout game, a Pillars of Eternity game, or an Outer Worlds title. So something all new, probably? That'd be pretty fucking cool. But Tim Kaine being a fucking legend, just out here, just being like, fuck you, my career's almost over, but here's one hint. I'm going to make one more game, and you're not going to know what the fuck it is. I love it. I look forward to it. I have zero idea of what we could even speculate on here. They're either going to drudge up some bizarre IP that is either archaic or is licensed, or they're going to do something all new, which is what I hope they end up doing. But I would love to see what a magnum opus or a one last effort from Tim Kaine could be. Although it seems like he's kind of technically already done that before. But I don't know, man. I appreciate when notable game creators and figureheads speak so transparently like that, because it's oh shit, keep your eyes on this guy. Let's see what happens. Speaking of keeping your eyes on things, Windows Central also relays that popular fantasy MMORPG Elder Scrolls Online has been running for a full 12 years now and enjoying frequent expansions and so much and so on from ZeniMax Online. In addition to support for long-running mass multiplayer, though, ZeniMax and Bethesda's legendary IP, the studio was planning to release a new MMO codenamed Project Blackbird, which we talked about a year or two ago. We know that work on Blackbird began as early as 2018 with ZeniMax building a new engine for it. And then in 2022, over 200 developers were working on the unannounced game. 300 were contributing to the project by March of last year, just a few months before Xbox canceled the game altogether, alongside Rare's Everwild and Perfect Dark, and shuttered the developer of the initiative as well. Former ZeniMax Online Studio director Matt Firer, who left because of Project Blackbird's death, now reflects on the cancellation in a new interview, saying he understands why it was axed and doesn't feel that the decision was personal, but ultimately disagrees with the decision to have canceled it. He says, making games is always heartbreaking business. No matter what happened, You could at least be the best studio in the world. The decision happened, and decisions happen to impact people. He told Ben Hansen of MinMax, I didn't agree with what happened, but I understood the reasoning behind it. It's just financial. We're a number on a ledger, and if that number is large and it is ripe for analysis, shall we say. And the number was always large. Basically saying we were spending a lot, and Xbox was in a mode where they had to cull some projects from the lineup, and they were in the wrong place at the wrong time and got the axe. He added that while the game had a long way to go, he needed significant more work, and it was much different than anything else that was out there, and very fun to play. The world probably would have been a better place with that game in it, as far as I'm concerned, he asserts. So, I mean, this is a rough one only because we have, remember the reporting a year ago when the game was, rumored where they were like, oh, yeah, apparently Phil Spencer's, gone and visited ZeniMax Online and has played, early builds of this game and is, addicted to it and thinks it's so great. And it's and then, a month or two later, they're like, and the game's canceled and everyone fucking sucks. It's like, what the hell? But I think I appreciate the professional demeanor about it, but it doesn't take away how much that fucking blows. And I get it. It's it was at a time where it was we need to cancel some things that are costing us a lot of money. Let's look at the portfolio and look at some things that are pretty far away from shipping and cancel a couple projects where it's hey, no harm, no foul. The world doesn't know about this game. It's probably not going to light the world on fire. Although I do find it funny that they canceled a game that has a live service angle to it at a time where they're trying to chase live service. It just doesn't seem like that was the right game to cancel, but I won't complain about it too much because the game I really wish they didn't cancel was, well, I wish they canceled none of these games, but Perfect Dark was the one that really hurt me. All right, let's talk about a couple quick ones to round us out. So Sega released this new campaign or project called Sega Universe. It's aimed to bring its older IP to other mediums. So it's actually not really about video games. They released this video and it's weird and they have this tagline that says "No old, stay gold." But basically, this is a project designed to shine light on classic titles that are still loved by fans, distinct from current titles, and aims to transcend the world of games to deliver new ways to enjoy them. So I assume that means movies and TV pretty much predominantly, which is So they're saying the first project will be some anniversary projects focused on IPs that are celebrating major anniversaries this year, with the aim being to deliver nostalgic yet new entertainment content. While it hasn't been announced specifically yet, the Sega Universe website has a section called 2026 Selected, which specifically notes games that have big anniversaries this year, which are Fantasy Zone, Outrun, Streets of Rage, Rent-A-Hero, Guardian Heroes, Nights into Dream, Dynamite Deca, Sakura Wars, and SGGG. I think really you got Nights and Streets of Rage, and it's I don't really know what else. Maybe Outrun. What else are you really gonna do? I don't understand. What? I feel like Sega has all this IP that there's really nothing you can do with it, but they're so insistent that it's this legendary IP where it's listen, man, I like Outrun as much as the next guy, but what the fuck are you gonna do with Outrun? What are you gonna do with Guardian Heroes? With Dynamite Deca? Come on, man. They gotta stop with this mentality that they have this Nintendo lineup of IP that's just timeless and that everyone would always be welcoming. It's I don't know. Listen, if the MCU taught us anything, it's that, yeah, we can take obscure characters and make the general audiences care about them. Guardians of the Galaxy happened, Ant-Man happened, Black Panther happened, these are superhero IP that nobody knew about or gave a shit about 10, 15 years ago. So, let's be honest. But, I don't know, is Sega really about to make the world give a shit about Rent-A-Hero or Sakura Wars? I fucking doubt it, but keep making more movies and TV shows, I guess. Could be other stuff, but I'm assuming, it's that stuff instead. All right. Keeping with Sega, they teased the announcement of a brand new game this week, Alien Isolation 2, with this atmospheric teaser trailer that got people pretty excited. Now they say it's the news about the game is coming in the near future, but the trailer really doesn't show a whole lot. It just shows that confirmation that it's in development, that Creative Assembly is once again working on the game, that Sega is once again publishing it. But it's a 25-second video that shows a door unlocking. It reveals a rainy outside area. and then like it shows a phone booth, and like that's pretty much it. So the original Alien Isolation was released back in 2014. So this game's been wow, I can't believe this game's 12 years old this year. But Sega has been talking about, people have been talking about a sequel for quite a while, and they announced that they were going to do a sequel, I think, at the 10th anniversary of the game. So we've been waiting to hear more about this, and it sounds like probably at Summer Game Fest or something like that, we'll get like the whole like blowout reveal of it. So look forward to that. I know that's a game that kind of like really resonated with a lot of people in the early Xbox One generation. I never played it, but I know it was like reviewed okay, but like was kind of received really highly from people who played it. All right, wrap up. Let's do it here. Electronic Arts has officially announced the 6th game in its Ultimate Fighting Championship series, as reported by early reliable leaker Billy Bill Kuhn. EA Sports UFC 6 will be released on June 19th for Xbox consoles at $70 US, but you can buy an Ultimate Edition for $100, which will give you a 7-day early access from June 12th to the 18th. According to EA, players who pre-ordered either edition will get an iconic moment bundle including Korean Zombie, Maisha Tate, and Leon Edwards fighter skins. I'm going to pretend like I understood any of that and just move on. So, guys, that is it for the news this week. I'm going to go grab some water real quick because I need to stand up and work these allergies off, although I feel getting better. And then we'll come back, talk about the games I've been playing, and round out with some comments. All right, guys, let's get back to the what I've been playing, because there's so many video games that are coming out, and they're all video game-like, and I want to play them. But before I can tell you about what I've been playing, I first got to tell you about what I've been eating, because Colony Grill waits for no man. So, this past weekend, great Saturday, wonderful Saturday. For the first time in years, I went to Tropicana Field to see my boys, the Tampa Bay Rays. Wonderful day. Beautiful day. So on Saturday we drove out to St. Pete, went to go see a baseball game. And last year, when for those who don't know, don't care, the Tampa Bay Rays did not play at their home field last year, Tropicana Field, because the hurricane in 2024 destroyed it. So last year they had to play their whole home season at the New York Yankees spring training facility in Tampa. And so last season was just weird. It was a lot of just weirdness. They had different sponsors, different advertisements, they played in a different place. Everything was just different. It was a fun but weird year. And I kept seeing ads for Colony Grill all last season. I was like, what the fuck is Colony Grill? Turns out it's this like this pizza thing from New England. It's from Connecticut. And it's like this super thin crust pizza. And their signature thing is what they call hot oil pizza. It's this like cheese pizza that's ultra thin crust. And then they drizzle olive oil on it and put serrano peppers slices on it. And I don't know why, but like this is their signature thing. So I've always wanted to try this place because I like that like cracker crust, like that Chicago tavern style cracker crust. This looks like it has more of like a melty, like crispy, crackly cheese thing going on, but on like a thin, crackery crust. But anyway, so I've always wanted to try Colony Grill. So my girlfriend's like, well, what do you want to eat while we're out there? I was like, I want to go to Colony Grill because it's there. It's near Tropicana Field. All last season, I just watched advertisement after advertisement for this place. I want to check it out. So we were going to go to the Colony Grill restaurant. I guess there's like a couple of them in Connecticut where they're from, and then there's like a couple in Florida because everything from up north is also down here. And so that was the plan, was to go eat there. But then when we were at the baseball game, we noticed, dude, shout out to Tropicana Field, the best concessions of any sporting place I've ever been to. I've heard there are some other baseball teams in particular that have really good concessions at their field, but like most of the ones I go to, it's like fucking peanuts and Cracker Jacks. And it's so boring that it makes you care if you ever come back. But the Tampa Bay Rays, dude, their fucking food and beverage program at Tropicana Field, so good. So many like local restaurants and stuff. They have like fucking a seafood shack and like pulled barbecue pork, loaded fries and stuff like that. Like just all this ridiculous shit. But instead of having like Papa John's or Little Caesars or whatever generic chain pizza dog shit they sell at the concessions area, Colony Grill is there at Tropicana Field. You can buy a personal pizza from Colony Grill. So I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to eat my first Colony Grill pizza at a Tampa Bay Rays baseball game. Probably the most fitting way to try it. So around the 5th inning, we sneak out real quick. We go grab a Colony Grill pizza, and they go, do you want cheese, pepperoni, or our signature? I was like, you know damn well I want your signature. So it's that super thin cheese pizza with olive oil drizzled on top, and serrano peppers cut up and sliced on there. And this thing is fucking delicious. I love it. My girlfriend hated it. She was like, it's too oily. I'm like, well, yeah, they added oil to this oily, cheesy pizza. But I think it's awesome. I think the olive oil actually somehow, for whatever godforsaken reason, I feel like it balances out the oiliness of the cheese. It's like two different oils that kind of cancel each other out. It's like making, I don't know, it's like making Alfredo sauce with like half and half and heavy whipping cream or something instead of like just heavy whipping cream. It's like trying to cut it with something else. So it's like, instead of just having like really oily, greasy cheese all over pizza, it's like oily, greasy cheese and some fresh olive oil. So I don't know. There's some weird thing about that combination, but it worked really well. And the serrano peppers, I love serranos. I like hot peppers. I like peppers anywhere. So these peppers had a fucking kick to them. They had all their goddamn seeds still intact, and that pizza definitely lit my mouth on fire. But I got to be honest, the important thing is that the crust is so absurdly thin, but it still has a chew to it. It has like that wet chew that like really good like New York pizza has, and like it's actually so fucking good. I think personally, I think Colony Grill is like phenomenal now that I've had it. I'm like, I would go out of my way to go to a Colony Grill, like the restaurant, actually, and eat there because I like that so much. The problem is my girlfriend didn't like it, so now I don't know if I could ever convince her to eat at one of these. But I want to give a huge shout out to Colony Grill. Also, a huge shout out to Tropicana Field and the Tampa Bay Rays because, dude, the food there is so good. They got Mr. Softy is the official ice cream provider there, which is like the best ice cream in Florida. They got Colony Grill. They got fucking local restaurants doing like barbecue. They got one that does like sushi and masubi. They got one that does like rice bowls. They got one that does like Latin food. They got like all this shit. So it's like, yeah, you can get your popcorn and peanuts and hot dogs like you would at any baseball game, but you can also get all this other shit. It's fucking awesome. And dude, it's so good to be back at Tropicana Field. Indoor baseball, fuck all y'all that say Tropicana Field's a bad baseball field. Indoor baseball in the Florida heat, I'll take that shit all day. Also, they brought back the Rays. Not the baseball players, but the Rays. At Tropicana Field, they have an actual aquarium tank full of stingrays, and you can go and pet them and take photos with them. And it's fucking awesome, and they brought it back, and it was good to see those little fellas swimming around again. I miss them. So anyway, that's it for what I've been eating. Not the stingrays, but the hot oil pizza. And now on to what I've been playing. So, all right, let's get the boring part of it out of the way first. So my Steam Deck, as I mentioned last week, I shipped it off to Valve. I said, I bought this Steam Deck from this girl on Facebook Marketplace. She scammed me. Every time I put it into sleep mode, the audio dies. I can't fix it. So they said, send it in, you little bitch. And I sent it in. And update on the Steam Deck, I was, listen, after the experience I had earlier this year with Samsung when I broke my phone and sent my phone in for Samsung Care repair, that was a fucking nightmare. That was like a full month without my phone, and it was a nightmare calling those bastards and getting them to do the right thing. I was dreading what sending my Steam Deck to Valve would be like. But actually, my Steam Deck, I shipped it off. It took 2 days to get there. And then on the next day, it was like, hey, we have your device. And then the day after that, nothing. And then the day after that, they're like, okay, it's fixed. We're sending it back to you. And that was today. I checked my email, and it's just like, yeah, we're sending it back. 2-day priority mail. I'm like, wait, I'm gonna have my Steam Deck probably back by like Friday. Are you serious? But apparently they're done with it. So listen, reserve judgment until the final product gets here. I don't know what they did. They didn't get into details in the email. I don't know. Did they fix my device? Did they not fix it and just send it back with nothing changed? Did they throw my old device out and send me a new one? What happened? I don't fucking know. The email doesn't say. It just says, oh, your repair has been completed. We're sending the device back to you. So we shall see what happens. But so far, just in terms of like turnaround time, very impressed with that. But because I still don't have the Steam Deck, I'm not really playing some of the games I want to play. The big game I want to play is Replaced. I bought it in anticipation of enjoying it on my Steam Deck when it first came out a week ago. but I am just waiting for that Steam Deck to come back ready to go so I can really enjoy it the way I intended to. So I'm still playing Pragmata. Without getting into spoilers, let me put it this way. I beat the game, but once you beat the game, you really ought to continue playing the game because there's some other things you can do that's definitely worth your time, wink, wink. So I am playing the extensive amount of post-game content in order to get the additional story content that there is to get out of this game. It's worth it. I fucking love Pragmata. The end game is pretty good. It's like you have these 10 challenges you got to complete, but you have to unlock the challenges by going into the different zones and 100%ing the collectibles and refighting the bosses. But this time the bosses are like remixed and they're harder because now that you're more upgraded and your arsenal's expanded, you can take on bosses from earlier in the game with like, with ease. So now they're like upgraded and stuff. And it sounds tedious and boring, but it's not because you go back to these places in the game from earlier and you have all these new abilities and things so you can unlock different areas. So it's not really just retreading old ground. It's actually like exploring new parts of areas you've been to before. So it's got like this like collectathon Metroidvania kind of thing going on in the post game. And then once you do that in these areas, you unlock these challenge missions. And then you complete the challenge missions, which are like these trials. They're cool. Some of them are like horde rushes. Some of them are like platforming challenges, all these different things. So it's like, those are fun as well. And then, once you complete that, you unlock some special items, and then you can replay the last boss one more time and then get the special secret additional ending. So that's what I'm working on right now, is doing all of that, and about halfway through it. But I'm really enjoying Pragmata. This game is super special. Again, the story is like nothing crazy good. It's pretty good. I think people are kind of underselling the story. I think the performances are fine. The story is pretty good. And the way it's all tied together and pulled off is actually the best part of it. So I think it's like a solid story with some decent enough acting that's executed pretty damn well. So it does it enough for me, but the gameplay is so fun. The exploration, like the section of the game where you're playing like New York City recreated on the moon, 3D printed, is fucking wild. It's so cool. And this game is just such a fun treat to explore and look at. I'm really enjoying the hell out of it, so I'm continuing to play Pragmata. Surprise, surprise, I'm continuing to play Dead Zone Rogue, which I'm helplessly addicted to. I didn't actually think I was ever going to beat it because it's kind of tough as you get further and further into it, but I did beat it on Switch 2. Now I'm just kind of cleaning up some of the side missions and DLC content. However, when I get my Steam Deck back, I'm going to beat it again because I also bought it on Steam, and I put already like 5 hours into the Steam version, so I will replay all that shit again to get the Steam achievements and to have an excuse to fuck around with my Steam Deck some more. But yeah, Dead Zone Rogue might be my favorite game of the year so far, just because it is just such a fun game. It's a purely gameplay-driven experience, and it is so helplessly addicting. You pick it up, you understand it instantly, and then you just have fun for 50 hours. And I can't get enough of it. Really enjoying the hell out of it. And I gotta say, shout out to the ending of that game, because it, for no reason, gets real Halo real fast at the very end, and it's kind of cool. But yeah, that's Dead Zone Rogue. And then the next thing is, I purchased on Steam. I got a couple of Steam gift cards for my birthday last week. And so I purchased a bundle that has the newly released Vampire Crawlers with the recently released Slay the Spire 2, which I've always been curious about trying the first Slay the Spire game. I played this game called Dawncaster on my phone, which is like a mobile, like kind of inspired type variant of Slay the Spire, but I've never actually played Slay the Spire, so I don't know. People have been really praising the sequel, so I was like, whatever. It's like $25 or something, $30, and you get Vampire Crawlers and Slay the Spire 2, like in a bundle. I was like, let's do it. So I haven't played Slay the Spire yet. That is a game I'm waiting for the Steam Deck to come back to play. But I got into Vampire Crawlers a little bit. I've only played it like one night for about an hour, so I'm barely into it. But Vampire Crawlers is the follow-up game from the guys that made Vampire Survivor, that helplessly addicting game from a few years ago, where it was very simple, just just walk around in that 8-bit world auto combat game where you just run around, and every wave of vampires you defeat, you unlock a new ability or special item, and then you just keep surviving wave after wave after wave, and you go as long as you can. It has that rogue element of like different items being equipped and unlocked as you progress through the game and level up and get new abilities and stuff. And it's helplessly addicting and fun. Well, Vampire Crawlers is the next game in, I guess, what do you call it, the Vampire series, but it is not the same kind of game. It's something completely different. It is a card battling rogue-like dungeon crawler. First of all, the art style of this game is so fucking cool to look at. But I have a big soft spot for dungeon crawlers. Cronky actually used to be really into dungeon crawlers when he was a kid. And he used to, I don't even remember like some of the ones we used to play, but like he was always really into them. And we just kind of had access to a lot of older games through older brother with a lot of CDs with games illegally burned onto them. So I have a soft spot for the dungeon crawler genre. I just think it's a really quaint and unique and creative way to use like that limited old school 2D faux 3D kind of aesthetic. And this game uses that kind of movement and exploration system, but with card battling. So like you encounter enemies while you're like exploring and dungeon crawling around, if you will. And then when you encounter enemies, you get these cards, and each card has like a different ability or attack, and they have like a different like mana requirement. So basic attacks require 0 mana, then there are attacks that require 1 or 2 mana, but then you can get special combos if you chain them in numerical order. So if you start off with an attack that's 0, and then go into an attack that requires a 1, and then an attack that requires a 2, you get special perks and buffs for like chaining them together, like comboing them together. And then it becomes kind of like Vampire Survivors, where like after enemy encounters, you then like unlock new abilities. It's like, okay, well, what if you unlock this new card or this new enhancement for your card or this new enhancement that can be applied to any card in your deck or whatever. And then you like upgrade your mana or your health or whatever. And then it has that like rogue element of like, okay, you're just like clearing waves, then you're like upgrading, then you're unlocking abilities, then you're doing it again, then you try it again, and then it's randomized, then you get this one, then you go through there, and then you fight bosses and stuff, and it's very, very fun immediately. It's immediately satisfying. It's immediately fun. So I'm playing a little bit of Vampire Crawlers. I do plan on getting to a lot more of that this weekend. So my plan is to finish up Pragmata, play Vampire Crawlers, and Replaced. It's a lofty goal for this weekend to get all that done, but we shall see what I can do. But I'm really enjoying the games I'm playing, my time playing on Steam, my time playing on Switch 2. All 3 of these games are on Xbox, and I've opted to play them either on PC or Switch. So I don't know, man. I will come back to Xbox soon. I'm excited for Forza Horizon 6. That will be an Xbox game for sure. And I am excited to play 007 First Light. I will also be getting that game on Xbox. So I'll be coming back to Xbox soon. I also really want to download and try out Kiln, the new Double Fine game, which I might do this weekend if my girlfriend maybe wants to play it with me. But we can talk about that next week if that's what ends up happening. But I didn't forget about you, Xbox. I still want to play you. I just... you kind of pissed me off, and right now there's some other pretty places to play games. Is all I'm saying, girl. You know, hey, it ain't personal. It's just business. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, that's gonna do it for what I've been playing. Let's round out the show with the best final and last segments: the comments, shoutouts, whatever, YouTube inquiries. You go to youtube.com, click on the latest episode of the Xbox On podcast, and drop a comment. You can be a total dickhead. Lately, we've gotten a couple of those. You can be a nice guy. You can be an inquisitive guy. You can be a guy of great vigor and stamina. You can be whatever kind of guy you want. I'm going to read your comment on the show. So let's kick it off, guys. Fedimist1450 writes in and says, I hope Game Pass gets more indie stuff. I don't know, man. You just fucking like a fucking Game Pass baby. Yeah, but the indie stuff is the icing on the cake. It's not the draw. So there's always gonna be some of it. I think Vampire. Wait, isn't Vampire Crawlers a day one Game Pass game? Isn't it like Vampire Survivors was? I don't know. But yeah, man. I mean, Game Pass needs a lot of things, but I don't know that more indie support is the main thing. I mean, if anything, what I understand is that the indie scene on Xbox is dying because of Game Pass. But I don't know, man. All these comments, by the way, are pretty much Game Pass centric. After last week, a lot of you guys wanted to talk about Game Pass with the price decreasing and the changes coming to the service. So, understandably so, that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about here. Dead Captain James writes in with and says the following two things. He says, "The statement I was never expecting to hear: price going down must be so much worse than we think." That's a good way to put it too, man. Like those numbers must have been not flat, but down catastrophically for them to be like, "Yo, Asha, this is Microsoft HQ. You can do whatever the fuck you gotta do to make Game Pass stop hemorrhaging users." Because remember, daily active users is their metric. That's their North Star. They don't care about money or players or exclusive content or console sales. They just want daily active users, right? Dead Captain James continues and says, "I think you're right, Jesse. I've been a champion of Game Pass since day one, but it's safe to say it's never going to be a thing and might as well let it go and move back to normal selling patterns. Brother, I wish." Dude, if Xbox was like, Game Pass is dead, the revival of Xbox Live is here, and we're not selling any more games on PlayStation effective immediately. We are doing exclusive games, meaning when Obsidian makes a game, it's exclusive. When Bethesda makes a game, it's exclusive. Yeah, sure, Call of Duty, Minecraft, or multi-platform, whatever. But we're not fucking playing that shit. Halo and Gears of War on PlayStation? No, thank you. Dude, if they did that shit, like, get rid of Game Pass, go back to console exclusives, whew! Dude, I'd take my Steam Deck and I'd karate chop it in half and throw it into the Ganges River. I wouldn't give a shit. I'd say, Gabe Newell, you can suck my baby corn, which I have in my pantry. I have baby corn. Do you ever eat that? Sometimes you get it with your Chinese food. I don't know. You let me know. Thank you, Dead Captain James. Soldier for Christ writes in and says, Game Pass was $20 with Call of Duty Day 1. Game Pass is now $23 without Call of Duty Day 1, shrugging emoji. I don't know, man. Listen, we're not comparing what it was before the price hike. We're comparing what it was price hiked to what it is now. I think if you think about the $7 a month you're saving over the course of 12 years, it's more than $70. So you're more than, you can go ahead and buy Call of Duty this year and have a year of Game Pass and still come out and save money. So that right there is money back in the pockets of players. Plus, yeah, I get it. For a little while there, it was $20 a month with Call of Duty included. But that was because Xbox is fucking reckless and unsustainable with their business practices and was doing this shit the whole time. Listen, this is the stuff I kind of hate because it's like there's a business model to how subscription services work. The idea is to get you hooked at a low entry point at an introductory price that's not sustainable, and then over time get you to kind of stick around by putting out so much content that you love and are helplessly addicted to that you can't unsubscribe from the service, and then price hike you to a point where it's profitable. Obviously, that's what they were trying to do. Like, yeah, at no point in time was Game Pass ever even remotely profitable at $20 a month with Call of Duty included. Like, that's an absolute bullshit asinine perspective that only people who have no concept of how things are made and how goods and services are created, bought, sold, traded, whatever, believe. Like, I don't know, man. Like, we can't linger on that point. I'll take $23 without Call of Duty all day. But you know what else I'll take? I'll take no fucking Game Pass. No thank you. I'll just buy my games a la carte, which is exactly what I've done. I actually bought Call of Duty last November. I bought Black Ops 7 Day 1, $70. And I have the cheapest version of Game Pass. So I have basically Xbox Live. And I buy it in 3-month bunches. So it basically comes out to like $7.50 a month. And yeah, that's what I do to save money. Play Xbox the way I got intended. Soldier for Christ, thank you for being a soldier for Christ. I hope you're not in the Middle East right now fighting for Israel, because first they'll kill Christ and then they'll kill the American soldiers. Anything for total dominance, right? The Middle East, need that oil. Need to protect the Epstein files. Cronky writes it and says 2 things. First, episode 360. 360 episodes? Pathetic. You won't make it to 361, loser. Congrats. Secondly, how do you think they could realistically backpedal away from Game Pass at this point? A gradual degradation of the service to get people back to buying games would cause too much reputational harm, as would pulling the plug all at once. I don't see a way of getting away from it unless we just saw the strategy: drop the price and remove high-profile games until the spin is, and then spin it as a win for consumers. What do you think? I don't know what I think. I think Xbox is between a rock and a hard place. Game Pass was a massive gamble. It either worked or it didn't work. And fast forward to 2026, it didn't work. That's all there is to it. And yeah, if they cancel Game Pass all at once, that's ripping off the Band-Aid, which I think is always the better idea in the long run. Fuck yeah, people will be upset. If they slowly back away from it until people just get pissed off and quit, I think that's worse. Think about it like breaking up with a girlfriend. Think about it. What's worse, breaking up with a girlfriend a week before prom because you don't like her and it's not working out and it's not the right relationship, or just stringing that girl along for a long ass time, forever and ever, and just starting to treat her like shit and be a little more emotionally unavailable until she eventually goes, you know what, fuck you, you're not the same, I don't like you anymore, you've changed, I don't know what's going on, it's over, we're over. I don't know, like, do you really want to beleaguer the point? Do you want to drag the thing out as long as possible? I think you rip the Band-Aid off and then you move on. Yeah, you take the heat up front and you say, listen, man, we liked the idea, it was a good idea, it didn't work. Asha Sharma seems to be a lot more transparent and direct with the way she communicates compared to Phil Spencer. So it'd be great for her to be like, listen, I think it's a great idea. When I was brought on here, I was like, wow, what an awesome idea. Netflix for video games. How has somebody else not done this already? But we looked at the numbers. We crunched. We looked for new ways and explored new tiers of the service. We dropped the price. We did all these things, and it didn't work out. We kept crunching the numbers, and we couldn't come to a place where Xbox Game Pass is sustainable. We ran it at a loss for years and years and years in hopes that we'd grow the user base, but we've not been able to grow the user base to a point where we can make a profit, and we can't raise the price because when we did, it really upset our customers. So at the end of the day, it didn't work. We're going to go back to the way things used to be. Obviously, you'll never get that level of honesty and transparency from a corporation like Microsoft, but I think at the end of the day, that's the move. That's the fucking move. You pull the plug, and then normal, rational people like myself will be like, I understand. Please go back to the way things were. And then all like the freaking weird, dismembered fucking like autistic kids on Twitter who spend more time defending Xbox on social media than they spend playing Xbox will be like, oh, my life is over. Game Pass was such good value. Oh. And then they had to go buy South of Midnight and add it to the library because they didn't have it before. Losers. I don't know, man. I think now one of the unintended negative consequences of this price drop in Call of Duty situation is now people are always going to be wondering, what's the next game? What's the next game? Is it, Halo 7, is that going to be in Game Pass, or are they going to do that? Oh, well, this one won't be in Game Pass day one, you know? Because even though we kind of get intrinsically what they mean, that's like, just Call of Duty we're going to backpedal on, but it's like, and that kind of makes sense in its own weird way. It does start a precedent where it's like, well, what else could they do? Could Gears E-Day not be a day one Game Pass game? Could they just randomly say, oh, well, that one, yeah, you'll get it about 6 months after release, but it will come to Game Pass. Don't worry. $70, please. You know, like, so the foundation is already cracking immensely for Game Pass. To me, the win is that the price went down as a sign of showing that the service isn't working out. I want to see it go away. I want to see Game Pass die. I'm tired. I regret ever championing this service. I'm glad I stood behind not wanting the merger and acquisition of Activision Blizzard King in the first place. And all I feel like I can do at this point now is just defend what Xbox should have been doing all along, which is doubling down on great games exclusive for their great platform, trying to grow organically instead of buy everything, make it multi-platform, fuck up your own console. It's like the Xbox Series generation is like, build the best console you've ever made, sabotage the best console you've ever made, buy a bunch of game studios, put all their games on PlayStation, even though those games were already available on PlayStation anyway. Make your development costs skyrocket through acquisition of new teams, lay off tons and tons of people, discover that everything you're doing is unsustainable, fire your leader, cancel half your video games, make shit tons of money on PlayStation. Xbox is doomed. Like, that's what this generation has been. Like, the bullet points of it. And so it's like, yeah, man, I am actively rooting for the demise of Game Pass at this point because it is a cancer that has taken all of the fun out of Xbox. And between that and the Activision deal, I'm just fucking sick of Xbox being anything but the platform that I myself, and I assume a lot of you, fell in love with all those years ago on that one faint November night back in 2001. Almost said 2021. All right, let's move on. Arctic Chief comes back after a long absence, this beautiful bastard, and says, "Hello, Jesse. Hello, everyone. So I did something recently I would both 100% recommend and not recommend. I recently had a trip in which I was going to be on the go for a while. I saved up 6 weeks of this podcast so that I could listen to your sweet, beautiful voice for hours at a time. This is the 100% recommend part. What I do not recommend is not listening to the show for 6 weeks. It almost felt like a betrayal on my end, not listening for so long. It's my Thursday ritual, and I look forward to it each week. I found this podcast on the 5-year Halo 5 anniversary, and have since then been a weekly, with this exception, listener. What an experience starting and finishing Resident Evil in a day, moving into Pragmata, going back to Taco Bell, and so on. I'm happy everything is going well, and I hope you get your Steam Deck back soon." Arctic Chief, that is such a sweet comment. I appreciate you, bro. You're such a guy, man. I love you. You also continue and say, "I'm glad Game Pass pricing is going back down some. I stayed on Ultimate because for me, it included my Fortnite Crew Pass, so the price exchange didn't really affect me, but paying $7 less is still nice. I haven't been playing too much of anything lately that has kept my attention. I'm in the reverse gamer state where instead of saying I have nothing to play, it's more like I have too much to play. My brother in Christ, that is a huge part of why I love not being on Game Pass anymore. It is so nice. Yes, there's too much choice everywhere you look, but it's easier to play a game when you're like, oh my God, there's so many games that just came out. I have to pick one, buy one, and play one. And then, like, the second you buy a game, you're like, I'm locked into this. I'm financially invested in this particular game. Whereas Game Pass is like, I subscribe this month. Here's 5,000 games to play. I'm not committed to any of these because I'm subscribed to a service that gives me access to a library. Like, if I don't like this game, after 10 seconds, I'll bounce off and play this game. And if I don't love that, I'll feel compelled to go play this because it's also in the service. And, oh, I heard this game's leaving soon. I should go give that a try. Oh, it's a good game, but I'm not in the mood for it. Oh, but it's leaving soon, so I feel like I have to play it. And then it's like, then you're not playing video games. You're letting Game Pass and Microsoft's, like, fucking portfolio of games they can get into their service, like, kind of dictate what you can and can't play. And then it becomes a chore, a limited chore, and less of like this experience where you can explore and determine what you want to play and how you want to play based on voting with your wallet and picking and choosing based on, you know, the options available to you. So I don't know, man, that might be part of it, but also it's just totally natural to go through phases where like you kind of get overwhelmed and then turned off from games for a while, and then you come back and it hits. I go through those phases all the time. There are some weeks where I'm just like, I don't want to play games this week, and then I just don't. And that's fine. You know, you just watch some Disney Plus, read a book about a cat. I don't know, whatever. But Arctic Chief, thank you so much for writing in. Very, very sweet comment. I cringe at the thought of someone listening to 6 consecutive episodes of this podcast back to back to back while traveling. It makes me want to die for you, honestly, just to save myself the embarrassment and to save your ears the dissonance. So, but thank you. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. And Arctic Chief, you've always been a hell of a guy. I appreciate you supporting the show for so long, and I always look forward to your write-ins and your interactions. So please do take care. Tell the family that I personally said hello to them. It's not like a creepy thing like, hey, this podcast I listen to really gives a shit about my family. It's like, no, it's like Jesse cares about your family. I care about your family deeply, Arctic Chief. I know their dates of birth. I know their social security numbers, and I know which side of the bed certain people are sleeping on. You know, I know, are they tummy sleepers? Are they back sleepers? I know these things. And so I just want your family to know, I personally hope they're doing well. Shalom. Peace be to Allah. All right, I'm starting to lose my voice, so let's wrap up with the last 2 comments here. Decoy Doctopus says, I don't remember them ever referring to Artyom as the stranger in the old Metro games. So I think it's a new protagonist in this game. I'm also glad to see that they got the writer of the books on board, because last I heard he was pretty negative about the video game adaptations. I didn't know that he was not super hot on how the video games had played out. So that's interesting. And then, yeah, I also didn't know if it was a new character or if it was Artyom, but fuck it, we'll find out. I'll be honest, I don't remember like half of what happens in the Metro games, so I plan on refreshing myself, but you know how it is. There's not enough time to play any of these games, so who knows? But Decoy Octopus, you also say, and I think Game Pass price decreasing is just a prolonged life support. Like you said, it's a failed experiment. Yes. And it's cool to experiment. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Game Pass is a great idea. I appreciate that it existed. I appreciate that they tried it. It was cool. There was a long while where I was subscribed to it and really loved it and enjoyed it. Like, I'm not saying fuck the idea of Game Pass. I'm just saying now it's time to let it go. Like, we did it. We gave it a good, long, hard try. We gave it a college try. It's not happening. All right, our final comment is a fun one that comes from Cronky and says, you know what I woke up wanting? I want Xbox to have that transparent green plastic like you could get for the OG Xbox. Same with the controller. I miss when gaming stuff tried to look fun instead of trying to look sleek and stylish. These things are toys. Everything got so serious at some point. Cronky, I actually disagree with you. As someone who loves like 90s aesthetic and loves color and loves ridiculous things, like, I don't know, like, I think a lot of people think about Nintendo in particular with this, like the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance and the N64s that had like the transparent colors, like the transparent green and the transparent purple and all that stuff. And like, listen, those things were cool, especially like for their time, late 90s, early 2000s. I think the fact of the matter is, like, it got to a point, and I especially think about this being like true with the PlayStation 2 being a DVD player. But then especially past that with like Xbox 360 and PS3 being these like entertainment devices. You know, when you boot up your Xbox, it doesn't just launch into a game like the old Xbox did or like the Xbox or like the PS1 did. When you boot up your Xbox, it takes you to a dashboard. You can watch movies. You can go to Netflix. You can go to the internet. You can go do a whole litany of things. Xbox is a device that is supposed to take over your living room and be the center of entertainment for that main room in your home. And so I think it reached a point in like PS2 to Xbox 360 territory where it was like, well, we want the device to look, you know, we want it to be striking and attractive and pretty, but we want it to kind of look serious and sophisticated and like something that you could put on an entertainment center as a 40-year-old man and not be embarrassed when your guests come over and see it there, you know? So I think that's how we got here. And I like that the Xbox 360 tried to keep it fun by being like, well, you can change the faceplates on it. And like the Steam Machine like advertises that they do that. And like PlayStation lets you change the vagina plates around the PS5. And like, you know, they do like special edition releases sometimes, like the Halo Infinite Series X or like the Star Wars Xbox 360 they release. So like they do things to kind of like bring fun back to it. But like, I think at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know. Do you really want like a Hey You Pikachu Xbox like on your entertainment center in your living room? I don't know. And you still kind of get it, I guess. Nintendo still kind of does it. They were the biggest players of like the release multiple SKUs with slightly different like colorful variants. But like, I think that's where it comes from. But like, yeah, I mean, I listen, I'll always encourage and welcome the option. More colors, more choices, more fun ideas. Hell yeah. But like personally, if Xbox gave me the option to buy a black Xbox Project Helix or a transparent plastic green Helix, I'm going to choose the black one all day because it's going to look way nicer in my living room on my entertainment center than the green one will, even though the green one is fun. And hey, I appreciate and recognize, especially with this new device being more of a PC hybrid, that some people want a fun, colorful looking device at their desk, at their gaming PC desk setup, or in their bedroom or something like that. So maybe there is room for, you know, to have some of these more fun options, considering that a lot of people put these Xboxes in bedrooms and offices and at computer desks and things like that. But I don't know. I just think about like the default perspective, which is like, I don't know. It's like basically a decoration or a furniture piece in your living room. How crazy do you want to get with it? You know, personally, I think the Xbox Series X is the most beautiful video game console of all time. And I love the way it looks on my entertainment system, like a center. Like when people come over, like I proudly display my Xbox in my living room because I think it adds to the overall aesthetic and feel of my home. So personally, I'm happy with where we've gone with these, but that is a weird take for me because normally I'm the guy who wants the fun, wacky options back. Like, that's my problem with cars. It's my problem with mobile phones. It's my problem with, like, pretty much everything else is I wish things looked more tacky, wacky, and ridiculous. But with video game consoles, I kind of get it. But I also totally see your point and think more options, more choice, and more fun would always be a welcome option. So great writing, Cronky. And thank you to everyone who wrote in. Appreciate you guys all so much. Hope you have a great week. Stay safe. Play lots of video games. God, there's so much shit to play. So enjoy your video games. Enjoy your time with your families and your cats and your doggies and whatnot. Until next week, I'm gonna edit this bitch and get it out there so Arctic Chief can load it in the can for another 4 months and then listen to on his way to his, I don't know, great grandmother's bar mitzvah. And anyway, there you go. You can listen to my weird sultry voice while your 93-year-old grandma gets fucking raised up on a chair with people with little yarmulke hats and shit dancing and singing around. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Go eat Colony Pizza. God damn, it's good. And until next week, power your dreams.